Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Impact Chasing podcast. Today is a day like no other. I have the pleasure of introducing my best friend to you guys. Her name is Shenina Shalise Brown, hailing, born and raised in Greenville, Mississippi. She is a creator. She is a graphic designer. She creates teas, coffees. She also does pretty much everything. This girl is the epitome of a creator. Like, even when we were in the 5th grade, I mean, she take this right here and make a flower out of it. She's just so freaking dope. And to see her evolve into the woman that she is today, and remember when she was 10 years old, it has just been such a pleasure to like see you grow. And I'm just so grateful to have someone like you in my life. And I know that the people need to see your face and hear your story, because they may see all of your glory and don't know what your struggles are or how you overcame these things. So we're gonna hop on in, and you are the owner of Love Nina Essentials. Okay,
Love Nina, yep.
So with Love Nina Essentials, she has hair growth oil. If your edges are lacking or if your scalp is dry, this is where you need to order this stuff. Also, her body butter. If you're trying to be eaten, wear it, because I'm telling you, I wore some of that body butter, and let me tell you something, the response was through the roof. You're not gonna be ashy, you're gonna have edges, you can drink coffee and tea, and if you need something, like, I mean, she is just everything. Shenina, I'm so happy to have you. Welcome. Thank you for coming. You are such a light, such an encourager, such an inspiration, man, and I'm just so grateful that you're here, like, present in the world. We need you.
How sweet are you? You too sweet. Well, I say to God be the glory on everything. I take no credit for nothing. It's all him. And I'm just being a willing vessel, even though sometimes I'm like, Lord, why did you give me this? Why did you give me that? But I'm striving just to move forward with what he's given me in prayer and in hopes that, my obedience to him will definitely evolve into something greater than I could ever imagine. So thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here. Again, to God be the glory for it all. And here I am. Thank you, Jesus.
We are glad that you are here. I mean, I've been trying to figure out, like, okay, which angle I'm gonna take with Shenina to get her on here, because there's so many people that I want to have conversations with about evolution,
Absolutely.
And what that means, and how you've gotten to where you are, and what keeps you going. So just start off by telling us a little bit about you as well as your businesses.
Okay. Well, as you heard, my name is Shenina. I am the owner and operator and founder of a few businesses, some of which are very new and some of which I've had for a long time. And ever since I have been small, I vaguely remember my maternal grandmother. My paternal grandmother, but she told my dad when I was very young, she passed away when I was very young, that I was going to be an early developer, in which I was, and that I was going to be somebody. If I don't remember anything else, I remember those words from my dad. So from a young age, I definitely believe that God has instilled some greatness in me, and I say that so humbly, because sometimes you can be given what's the scripture, to whom much is given, much is required. And sometimes, having the much, we're given the much, but it's like, woo, the stuff that's required of us in order to obtain that. So blessings and life were spoken over me ever since I was little. So coming from that up until where I am now, there has been challenges, there have been victories, and just, concerning business itself, I am the proud owner and founder and operator of Love Nina Hair and Body Essentials, where I create hair and body products that help you look good, feel good, and smell great. I also am the owner, founder, and creator of Agent AT Company, where I create my own hand blended loose leaf teas that help with high blood pressure, that help with inflammation, that help with clarity and mental focus. And I could go on and on and on about that.
It does. It does.
And I am also the owner, operator, creator, and founder of S. Brown Graphics and Business Encouragement, where I create different graphics that consist of logos, programs, flyers, etc., invitations. And I absolutely just love creating for people. So since I've been young, I've always used my hands to do things, to be creative. And from, like I said, from what's been spoken of me, what was spoken of over me when I was younger up until now, I believe definitely played a role towards my evolvement to where I currently am. So that, in a nutshell, that's just a little bit about me.
So it was spoken over you before you even knew who you were, before you even like hear.
Yep. And that is, and I'm sure I'm touch on that if I don't do it right now, but that is so important. And it didn't really dawn on me until right now that words of life were implanted in me, like you said, before I even knew who I was. So whether you're a parent, grandparent, whether you're an aunt, uncle, cousin, sister, brother, it doesn't matter. The words you speak, especially over our children, the words that we speak have life. And sometimes, our children, of course, they don't necessarily know what they are getting themselves into being born into this world. Like, baby, like the adults used to tell us, just keep living. Okay. So now that we're older, we understand just how powerful, well, many of us understand just how powerful our words are. So even with that, make sure that you speak life into those that are under you and even those that are older than you, because our words carry so much power. And I believe part of that has helped me get to where I am today.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. And like a lot of people see you on social media and they read your posts and they find your posts so inspiring and encouraging, but like to know you personally and like to know things that you've gone through. And even though you're going through certain stuff, you still speak life to people, even in your darkest hour. How have you always been able to do that? Or is that something you just developed as time progressed?
I honestly think it's natural for me. Some people can see and they may assume that, I don't go through anything. How can she be so positive? How can she be so nice? Anybody that knows me, for me, and I humbly say this again, to know me is to love me. If you don't really know me, just coming off of what you see and what you read, you may think one way, but if you really know me, like, that this is who I am for real. I'm like this, what I say and what I post on Facebook or whatever, that's who I am in real life. The days, and I won't say most, but a lot of the days that I post, even those encouraging words, I may have just finished crying. Or I may be crying as I'm making the post, because a lot of times for me, when I'm able to encourage others, it helps me because I'm encouraging myself at the same time. But to know that what God has given me resonates with somebody else and they can be helped through their situation, it helps me. So no, it hasn't always been peaches and cream for me. I choose to stay positive and remain positive, because being negative, complaining, being nasty, spiteful, hateful, all of that, it gets you nowhere. It gets you absolutely nowhere, but you digging a deeper hole for yourself to fall in. So on days, some days I have the day I'm up here in the day. Some days I'm real low. But I choose not to necessarily display that, even though I will sometimes, because I do believe being vulnerable is healthy in some ways, because people need to see that you are human, that you go through things. But I choose not to dwell on it. I could mope and grope all day long, but what will that help me? So it's a choice. Basically, it's choices. I choose to speak life. I choose to be positive. I choose to be happy, even though sometimes it's not, in reality, it's not always like that.
Wow. I have absolutely always adored that about you, because you've always been positive. even when I have my little negative Nancy days or moments, you like, now Frankita,
As
let me
we
get you
all
together,
do.
you know. And so I think you made a very important point. And I think a lot of people forget this. Like, life is choice driven. You're gonna live or die by choices that you make. Everything that you do is a choice. Choosing happiness is a choice. Choosing self-pity is a choice. And like, as a friend, you know, I'm all for people having their moments, but you're not gonna let me stay in my mom alone. I'm definitely not gonna let you stay in your mom alone.
That's
you
right.
Go cry, scream, holler. Okay, but baby, it's been 24 hours. We're moving forward.
That's it.
Because you can't evolve or maximize your fullest potential if you lack, like we discussed earlier. You can't have clarity spiritually if you lack emotional intelligence. So the higher your ability to have your emotions stable or emotional stability, then you can see things better, more clear spiritually. So so speaking of spiritually and spirits and stuff like that, faith, like, now you're 100% entrepreneur full time at the beautiful age that we are. How how were you able to get to this point? What type of faith did it take to get here?
Ooh, hunty. Faith, faith definitely plays a part. I truly believe that if it had not been for my faith in God and faith even in myself, that I would not be here. In addition to someone speaking life over me before I could even, before I even knew who I was or could speak life over myself. Getting to this point, it definitely took faith in God. I've always been a believer. I do consider myself to be a Christian. And so faith gives you, it's like the stepping stone or the catalyst to progress forward, because in order to get to where you need to be, faith for me has to be, it's been my stepping stone. I could not get to the next level had I not trusted in Jesus, had I not given over my worries, my problems, my stress, my troubles to him, because those are hindrances to get to where you need to be, to get to that next level. So faith definitely has played a major role in who I am and where I am today. And it wavers sometimes, just being honest, being human, it wavers sometimes, because faith is what they say, the evidence substance of things hoped for. Okay, evidence of things not seen, substance of things hoped for. So we definitely want to, and when I say we as believers, we definitely want to keep our eyes focused on Jesus, and trust him with whatever we're going through, knowing that the situations will get better, knowing that we're going to progress to a level that is higher than where we currently are. So without my faith, I don't know where I would be. So it definitely plays a huge part in my evolution.
Oh my God.
Oh no, man. We're not about to start those.
Bro, it's like you be pulling on my spirit.
Bruh, we are not about
yo, like that's beautiful, because I know for a fact that it took faith in God to do what you were doing. And in the previous podcast I just did with brother Brian, with Frank Brian.
You crying for real, girl?
Yeah, I didn't even know I was crying. Like, hold up, like, okay. Yeah, I mean, that really resonated with me, because I know that it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? But we can still go through a difficult moment, because as I was going to say, Frank Brian mentioned paralysis of analysis. And I had never heard of that before, but I struggle so much with paralysis of the analysis, meaning that I overthink and analyze so many things till it causes me to paralyze myself. So it's something that I'm trying to do. I'm gonna overthink it. Like, well, you know what? Like, example, the podcast. I've always enjoyed going live. I always known that I had a gift to be able to talk to people, to listen to people, without judgment, and just be a safe space. So like, if God gave me this gift and I want to do this podcast, I'm like, well, what if you do all this and then people don't listen, or or things go wrong, or you're not as good as you think you are? Like, all of those questions, that doubt, that fear, that attempts to trickle in when the paralysis of the analysis comes into play. That just means that we have to continue to push forward, push that envelope, because more than likely we're gonna be better than what we think we are, because we're not doing it in our own strength. we're doing this in God's strength. Because see, if you could do it by yourself, you do it. And
Absolutely.
So that spoke so much to me. Now I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back in time.
Okay.
Go back to about, I'm gonna say 2000. No, I'm gonna go back further than that. I'm gonna take you back to 19. Almost 95. But I'm gonna take you back to like 1995, 96, and board the Kemp class in the 5th grade at Melissa. Man,
baby. Come on, Miss Kim.
So,
rest in peace.
I know. Rest her. Oh, she was the greatest, the best teacher
Yes,
I ever had in my freaking life. Like,
yep.
Dorothy Kemp was the GOAT. Her and
Yes.
George Ingram.
Yes.
And Miss Amos. Oh, amazing. So
Yes.
Miss Kemp, I remember we had to do something in class, and Missy Ellie was out. And you know, so Missy be putting it down. I don't know how to. So Shenina on a sheet of paper wrote, Missy be putting it down, but her handwriting, her handwriting was stupendous. And in the 5th grade, I was like, friend, your handwriting like bomb as hell. Like,
that
I probably
is
said
funny.
that in 5th grade too. I probably said bomb as hell because I had heard somebody curse. But
that is funny. That
like,
is funny.
I could tell the creativity, and then you would make you do this thing where you had your hand right here, but you'd be creating because you're left hand, but you'd be creating something like you take this and you would make, it was like this flower.
I still do that.
You know what I'm talking about? Where you make the flower, don't judge me, but you know what I'm talking about? I was like, dang, friend is like, yeah, it's like that.
I have these papers all around. They have.
So from being in the 5th grade, and like, when did you recognize that you were a creative? When did it hit you?
That is such a good question, and one that I don't know, because I think I've pretty much been creating ever since I knew that I could create, or that I knew what paper and scissors and pens and markers and crayons were. And I'm sure that I probably had coloring pages where I colored in the lines, and I probably used colors that colors for certain things that other people probably wouldn't use. So I can't really recall when I knew that I was a creative. But things like you just said, that brings me back, and it's like, okay, I remember that, and I was doing that, then. So we definitely know in the 5th grade I was something. So I'm sure it probably was even before then. I can't really remember. But I know that, like I said earlier, that God has really given me something. So yeah. And even so, like, in my adulthood now, I'm still creative and doing those things.
I think that's so beautiful, because that's evolution. Like, you're constantly evolving. Like,
absolutely.
Your gifts, like, even in like 2000, when did you drop Love Nina? Like, for the first, I remember the Old Butters.
Yeah.
Like, what was that? 07, 08, somewhere up in there?
Yep. It was like 2008-ish. That's when I first started. At the time I was living in Tennessee. And that was the first time that I went natural. And just doing a lot of research. At the time it was very, very well, being natural was it was even more popular than what it is now. And so no, I won't say even more popular. People really started what's the word I'm looking for? They really started embracing their natural side. And just going in the kitchen one day, mixing up some stuff and realizing that it worked on me. And then asking my parents or whomever to try it, and then realizing that it worked on them. So that's when I first started back, like in 2008, with creating products.
2008, you started creating products. How did you go from, I think you were creating products, and then you ended up, when did you teach? What years did you teach?
I first taught because I came in the middle of the year. So I think I first taught in 2010, if I'm not mistaken, 2009. I'm not exactly sure. I got to go back with that one.
Okay.
But it definitely was, it was a little after I started creating those products, back then. So it was like between the 2009, 2010 year that I'm,
Okay. And so you went from doing body butters. How did we go from body butters to what's that? This is about, I'm not good in math. 2021. That 13 years.
Pretty much, yeah.
Years to go from that to having tea. And first, and let me say this. I'm not saying this because you're my friend. I gotta tell you the truth. The tea is bomb. I had a headache, no lie. And I felt like I was coming down with something too. You know, we were like, oh Lord, don't let it be COVID. So I instantly, grabbed the lemon, threw some honey in there, you know what I'm saying? And I drank, I think it was one of like my favorite, the lady one. You know what I'm talking about? Her. So I was drinking her, and I might have dropped a peppermint in there or something. I don't know, like something. I am say clear that stuff up just like that. The same with the oil. Edges are getting back healthy like I need them. Body butters, the He-Man body butter. Girl, it smells amazing. So it's like to see the evolution of even just the products to the packaging to the marketing. How have you been able to navigate through that and do it at the level that you do it? Like, what's been your secret or the thing that works for you?
Ooh, great question. If I had, of course, being totally honest, raw and transparent, if I had to use one word to describe the evolution going from basically A progressing to Z and beyond, I would say grace. I had to give myself, come on, G. I had to give myself grace, even at a young age. I had to learn to give myself grace, because if I did not give myself grace with anything that I've done, there would be no way possible I would be able to move on to the next thing. I had to be courageous. It is, now some people will say, it's not hard being an entrepreneur, blah, blah, blah. To me, it hasn't been the hardest, but it's definitely been challenging, and it still is challenging. To have faith, to first even to step out on faith and create something and then put it in front of the world, basically, because anytime you put anything on the internet, it's there for the world to see. Even if you delete it, there's still some kind of, residue left of what you put up. So to create something, you had to have faith to even put it out there in the world. It is scary. People are judgmental. People, and with me saying, thinking like, oh my God, will they like this? Will I be rejected? That was a big thing for me, rejection. And to be honest, it still is sometimes. So just the thought of possibly being rejected will keep you paralyzed, like we talked earlier. So I'm thinking ahead of time, like, okay, I don't think they're gonna take to this. I don't think they're gonna like this, but what happened if they say this? What happened if they say that? All of those thoughts, all of those questions going through your mind, knowing that God has given you something. And the enemy only attacks those who are loaded. Otherwise, what reason would he have to mess with you? He's not gonna mess with you just for the heck of it. If you don't have anything, why mess today? But seriously, think about it. Unless the enemy only attacks those who have something going on. So when you are doubtful, when you are fearful, when you see it, you can see it before you actually see it. But then there's something stopping you. That is nothing but the enemy. And even so, it could be you sometimes too, because we are our own worst critics. A lot of times we are in the way of us progressing. If you know that you're destined to be a millionaire, come on, you got ideas and all this great stuff inside of you. What is preventing you from moving forward? It's not even money. A lot of times it's not even the resources. It's you and your lack of faith in yourself, in your abilities, and the things that you can do. Look, I'm sorry, I forgot the question that you asked me initially. I'm just keep going, go off. Look, I'm trying to think back to it, but I can't remember. I cannot remember. But you answered. What I guess what has helped get me to this point. So yes, grace, being courageous, willingness to change. If you're not willing to change, then you cannot progress. Think about it. If you're going to remain in the same place, the same attitude, the same perception, the same mindset, then and you just like, you know, man, bump that. I'm not finna change. I'm finna stay right here. I'm finna keep doing what I'm doing. I'm comfortable. I ain't gotta worry about this, that, and the other. I don't have to worry about the unknown. I'm finna stay right here. Okay, you stay right there, but you're not moving forward. You're gonna stay right there. And being comfortable can sometimes be dangerous.
Oh, all the time.
Getting too comfortable can sometimes really be dangerous because you are preventing your blessings from coming. A lot of times God is not going to bless us if we refuse to move and act out on faith. So it all works together. So that willingness to change is very, very important, because if you want to go to the next level, I know you may be scared. I know you may be fearful. I know you may not know what's going to happen. But at some point, you have to be willing to let go and to try and just to jump, basically. That willingness to change, that's very important. And then just the courage to evolve. It takes courage nowadays to even live almost. You know, and you talking about some sleepless nights, some heartache, some you know, thinking about, you know, what's going to happen next, what do I need to do next, and not knowing. It takes courage to even to desire to evolve. So if you want to be great in any aspect, you have to be willing to let some stuff go. You have to be willing to give yourself grace, to make mistakes, to do it afraid, all that good stuff. So it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. Take your eyes off of what you see other people doing. Take your eyes off of their journey. Keep your eyes focused on yours, because nobody can do what you can do like you can do it, and when you're going to do it. So there's a good reward for all of us. All of these things that we're going through is not in vain. It's not in vain. But you got to trust. You got to trust Jesus. You got to put some trust and some faith somewhere and to move forward with that faith, because I understand if it's somebody that knows what sleepless nights are, what crying, what heartache is, and then still having to show up, and then still having to smile, and then still having to be positive, on top of not knowing when the next bill is going to be paid, not knowing if you're going to have money to eat the next day, still having to eat ramen noodles, still having to eat hot dogs, all that. I've been there. Been there. And still have to run multiple businesses, still trying to be great, only because you know that God has given you something and you definitely want to get that greatness out. So I get it, but you got to be willing to trust God and just put it all out there. And I could go on and on, so stop me at any time.
No. We are talking about your journey of evolution, and this is what has helped you evolve, because I'm telling you, this is going to help so many people.
I pray so.
That's you said, when I interview people and I talk to people, I tend to like listen to what they say and formulate my questions based upon that.
And you're doing such a great job. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, sis. I'm trying my best. I'm proud of you too. You spoke on the G word for me, grace. And grace and gentleness go hand in hand to me. Because I feel like for so long, I had boxing gloves on when it came to me, but I was very much more gentle with other people. And it hit me one day, like, I'm the person that I talk to the most. So how can I extend grace to other people and then have the audacity to not be gentle with myself when I'm the person that I hear the most?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So showing yourself grace before if a person doesn't show themselves grace, you can hang it up for you. That's how I feel.
Wow.
If you don't know how to be graceful when it comes to you and gentle with you, you're not going to be gentle with me, because you don't know how to. There's no way I can't give you what I don't know how to give myself. That's like when it comes to love. Like, I can't give you love if I don't love myself. If your amount of self-love is super low, you're not going to be able to give anybody else love. So being gentle with yourself, having grace with yourself, and most importantly, the willingness to change, because in these 36 years, it's one thing that I have been constantly doing is changing. Not just physically, but internally a lot. But that's taken something. I had to unlearn and relearn. It's like reparenting yourself as an adult. And
it's so good.
It's like, as you evolve, the same tactics or techniques that my parents taught me I have to unlearn that because 36-year-old me needs something else.
Absolutely.
Doesn't mean that
Absolutely.
that's wrong, because people do the best that they can. Our parents do the best that they can. It's like the older I get, the more I understand my mother and my aunts and my uncles and my dad. Like, I understand so much more now, because they were doing the best that they could. So I try to embrace. So in unlearning and relearning, that rejection will still creep in, like you said. But one thing I do know is that sometimes when you're not invited to the party, or you're trying to like contact someone about doing business and they reject you, 9 times out of 10, God is really protecting you from something you have no idea of. If it's not that person, there's something that's going on that God sees that he doesn't want you to have to even go through. So when it comes to like rejection at this point in my life, as it relates to business and anything, I just say, I appreciate you guys, extending whatever. Thank you all for even looking at my proposal or whatever the case may be, because obviously God has something better. So that mindset. And the other point I want to talk about that you discussed, and this is a big one. You said you have to take your eyes off of like other people and other people's businesses and stuff. I don't know. I didn't say this. I probably read this somewhere, but it said comparison is the thief of joy. Yep. I always try to keep that in my frontal, because it's so easy to subconsciously being in an internet space, whether it's social media, whatever, like you're constantly getting images of what people are saying that businesses are doing. I mean, like Impact Chasing, like my store, I probably ain't sold anything in a few weeks, and that's okay.
Oh yeah, like currently there.
You're gonna have those up and down moments. It's the part of business. So if this person's business is thriving, for me, I'm genuinely saying congratulations. Like I'm happy for you. And if I can purchase something, if I'm able financially, I'm gonna do it regardless, without even looking for the support back. And so I just wanted to, add to that how subconsciously social media will put these images in your brain, and you'll end up comparing your life or your businesses and stuff to somebody else's, and that's not how that should be. So how do you keep yourself centered in that regard, as far as business and stuff is concerned, to make sure that you are not comparing or over analyzing, what you're seeing in others?
For me, prayer definitely works. And I know, I mentioned God and prayer and faith, but that's pretty much my driving force of prayer. And when I say prayer, I ask God to show me, show me who I am, because even though I am 37 years old, a fully grown woman, I am still finding out who I am. And it probably hasn't been until I reach my 30s that I'm really in tune more with who I am. And even probably within the last year, I would say, I've gotten more in tune with my feelings, processing my feelings, or whatnot. So it has definitely been a process. It's definitely been a process, and just trying to hold on and to understand that my journey is unlike anybody else's journey. God made us so different. He has, he has implanted so many things inside of us that are different from others. So we have to learn to embrace that. We have to learn to understand that we are different, that no two people are ever alike, and that when you understand, when you know who you are, because it's a process of even knowing, like I just said, of who you are. When you understand who you are, you're able to receive the uniqueness. You're able to receive the gifts and the talents even better. So just knowing that I'm unique in my own right kind of separates me from the next person. If I look at them and I see they may be higher or further along than I am, that's not a competition thing for me. That's nothing to be jealous of. But excuse me, but something to look at and say, dang, I admire them. So instead of me, I'm not going to become envious or jealous of them, but I admire them. So I'm going to take where they currently are and use it as, a boost for me.
Come on now.
You know, so it's all in how you see it. So we have to keep our minds stayed and focused. Tunnel vision. All I can see is straight ahead. I can't see to the left or to the right of me. So going back to what you initially asked, prayer. So in my prayer time, I have to ask God, Lord, show me. And when he shows me who I am, Lord, give me the strength to embrace who you've created me to be. In your prayer time, because prayer, some people say, well, I can't pray, baby. Prayer is nothing but talking to God. If you say one sentence, that is prayer. So let me just add that in too.
It's the depth of the prayer. Sometimes I can say, no, but Lord, help me. That's all I can say.
Yep, that's it. The depth of the prayer. Absolutely. So just in case somebody is listening and you think you got to have a whole bunch of words for prayer, no, you don't.
You don't. Right.
I don't know all the scriptures. I know, some scriptures. I know enough, and I could definitely do better. Let me put that in there too. But prayer works.
It does.
Prayer works, and in your prayer, be sincere with God. Ask him what you need. Ask him to give you, the things that you need in order to see who you are, so that you can embrace your journey and you can stay grounded and planted in who he created you to be.
Amen.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. You were saying, so I think a big thing is asking God to help me see me.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of times people just, well, but how
can you evolve if you don't see yourself?
That's all I'm saying.
We want to be big man, we want to be big woman, but we're not asking. You gotta, baby, stop pointing at other folks. Stop saying what they doing. Stop pointing out all their flaws. Lord, here I am. It's me, oh Lord, standing in need of prayer. Because in order for you to evolve from this point to that point, there has to be some rawness, some realness. You got to be honest with yourself. And ask God to show you your flaws. Ask him to show you what you're doing wrong, because he'll show you.
Oh, he will. And let me say this.
He done showed me myself so many times and still doing it,
baby. I be like, dang God, I'm like that. I had
like for real.
Like yeah, I need to go back and apologize.
That's right. It's the hard truth.
Make that right. I need to state that I need the assistance. I need to whatever, because it's just so much in being reflection has truly taught me, because you mentioned like how you see yourself. Perception is reality. Yeah. And the way you perceive is the way you receive things. So if you don't see yourself right, you're not going to be able to see nothing or nobody else right.
Absolutely.
You have to sit down and investigate yourself, do it. And I do this probably every day. Like Frankita, what is up with you today? Your energy is off. You responded to this manner. You were really working in your flesh. You're not giving this person grace, but you want somebody to give grace. Whatever the case may be, like asking God to like really decrease myself and show me because another thing is when you're in the public eye, and you're seen as a positive light, people trip when you put certain stuff out there. I'll just talk about it. That's the only thing I'm good at. All right. So boom, we went to Cabo, right, for my birthday.
Right.
Oh, we turned up. I act a donkey. So social media saw a side of me that they had never seen me twerking, drinking, whatever. We had a ball. So that doesn't mean that, I'm really learning that the importance of being vulnerable and being transparent. And I think as a Black woman, it's shone upon to be vulnerable, right? To really show people your heart. They think we're supposed to be strong all the time. I have no desire to be strong. I just have a desire to just be a woman. To just be. And so in me being, I showed them, I allowed them the opportunity to come into my world to see who I really am. But and even in that, it taught me a lot, because people reached out like, girl, I'm gonna have to go out with y'all next time. Y'all, people were, and that doesn't mean that they gotta come with me next time, but I'm very big on like accessibility. Who I allow access to have people to have like access to me, because you're positive, I'm positive. and darkness is attracted to positivity.
Mm.
So is positivity. And so how have you been able to, I guess you can say, weed out? I know discernment is key, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like being mindful of people that try to attach themselves to your energy, to your positivity, so that you don't drain yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and remain positive and focused on like the business that you need to do. How have you been able to do that?
Ooh, well, I would start off by saying it's those did this just, I don't know if this just happened overnight, but before I went to bed last night, I saw people posting with the red flags.
Oh,
I'm
gonna do one with all green ones because
just learn.
red.
Look, I was a little green to that for a little minute, but I understand what's happening now, why people are doing it. So it's like, the things that people say or do that are considered to be warnings before you. Okay, so I get it.
Okay.
So I would definitely say those little red flags. Because one thing about it, when you ask God for discernment, when you ask God to show you who you are, he's also, in showing you who you are, he's going to show you also who other people are. He's the try the spirit by the spirit. Yep. He's going to give you all those things.
Yep.
I was at one point, and I can even say still am just a little bit, I'm almost scared to say, Lord, give me a discerning spirit, because I don't want to know things sometimes. Like,
that's real.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know if they're jealous of me. I don't want to know, because I'm not a confrontational person. I don't like conflict. I don't like, having to go to people and express my feelings. I just want everybody just to be happy and, real with each other from the beginning. But okay, that's not reality either. So sometimes you have to, put yourself in those uncomfortable situations or circumstances in order, to get some stuff out and to see what's up. So just people around me, I just, like I said, I don't like to, but I have to ask God for a discerning spirit and to show me who is for me and, who is not. So, look, I can't remember your question, your initial question.
I don't know what it was either. Just how do you basically like discern or be mindful of being able to let everybody have that certain accessibility to you, like being able to have
and sometimes you can honestly feel it. You can feel if somebody's being too clingy, if they want to know too much, if they're being too straight, what's the word I'm looking for? Straightforward on you. So sometimes, if you're in tune, you can kind of feel it. So then to back off, or to tell them, you're invading my personal space, or I need a little bit more room, or just simply, you don't have to respond to everybody and everything. Honestly, you can still love them, you can still respect them from a distance, but making sure.
Shenina.
What I say, friend?
No response, no contact.
It's true, because everybody doesn't deserve a response from you. You don't have to respond to everybody. That's part of keeping your peace as well. Because peace, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm striving
everything to
daily. Peace is what I want. Peace, regardless of what I have to do to get that peace, because once you have peace, you have everything. Once you have peace, you're able to focus on God more. You're able to focus on your businesses, your ministries, your relationships, your careers, your journey when you have peace, because you're not worried about anything or anybody else. So that gives me free will to focus on what's important, and that's me, myself, and I.
That's beautiful. That's that's really beautiful. And I know it takes time to get to that place.
Absolutely.
Mental health. I have a friend that always says
mental health.
I have a friend that told me, he said sometimes I feel like people use mental health as an excuse or a cop out to escape accountability. Some people may, others may not. But I do feel like it's important to none of us, I know I can only speak for me, as a positive person, I'm really high, right, all the time. Like I'm really happy, really congratulating people, trying to stay as positive as possible and give the gift of exhortation. However, I can be like super low. Like Rachel posted like the struggle of like being a super positive person. And then at night, you might just be crying for no reason, or you'll find yourself like having all these doubtful thoughts. And I know for me, I can only talk about me, and that's something that I have struggled with in the past. And so I have learned through therapy and just constant inner work, right, to find whatever those coping mechanisms are for me. So whether I'm journaling in my self-care journal, or whether I have my phone out because I like to talk, so I can open my voice memos and regurgitate what I need to say. Because sometimes I've been in spaces where I need to feel like I need to talk to somebody and I can't get nobody. And God has shown me like, it was a reason why I didn't let people answer the phone, because I need to learn how to talk to me, or learn how to deal with this in self, and learn these coping mechanisms, because things are not gonna always go your way. You may say something and it comes out the wrong way, or it's misconstrued. How are you gonna deal with it and keep your sanity and your peace? So I'm learning to focus on what I can control. And the only thing that I can control is myself. And sometimes when I want another piece of chicken, I can't control myself. So I'm struggling with self-control at times too. But the truth is, when I finally let go of me, of like trying to figure out how I want things to happen, and how I was trying to control the narrative of what happened in my life, then that's when I really truly got the peace. Because like you said, I embraced who I was. I embraced my journey. I embraced the roles that people played in my life, understanding this person had to come and teach me this. So don't be mad at him. Thank God for him in this process.
That's it.
Trust the process, and then process the trust, and move forward.
Ooh, process the trust.
That's what one of my mentors says all the time. Trust the process, and then process the trust. Because a lot of times I ain't okay with the process. If I'm just being honest, I'd be like,
the process hurts. The process is stings sometimes.
I
get it. I get it.
So I asked God, like, hey, please help me to be okay with this process. If this is the route that I have to go, if you meet somebody and you think that you're gonna fall in love, and then it go left, or it's not your person, or whatever, or if whatever, it don't even matter. Or in businesses, I'm thinking it's gonna do. God's like, well, you didn't say that's part of the process, but God, because I have emotions and I'm feeling a way, help me to process this, because you gave me these emotions, right? And so just learning how to ask God to be okay with that process.
Absolutely.
And to give me the emotional intelligence to deal with it. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get ready to leave and do the benediction.
Okay. Because we can go on and on.
Go all day. So the book that one of the books that I just recently read called I think it's called Relational Intelligence by Pastor Darius Daniels. He talks about the reason why we have so much frustration in life is because we put the wrong people in the wrong place. All right. So 4 categories. You got mentors, mentees, you got friends, and associates. Your coworker should not be your friend. If they have not proven themselves to be a friend, they're not your friend. So what happens when you put an associate in the friend space? Then that means that the expectations that you have for them is different than it would an associate. So then when something happens, you super hurt, and they like, well, we ain't free.
Come on, speak it.
You understand? So like, just really having the opportunity to have the assessment of like who's in my life and where they belong in my life. Because there are going to be some people that are just coming along just to teach you something, and that's it. And there are some people that are meant to be around, but are they meant to be around as an associate, or are they meant to be around as a friend? So just understanding, praying constantly, because that's something that's been a recurring theme here, prayer, but consistently. We have to be consistent in our prayer life. And I know for me, sometimes when I'm not praying, I can feel it. I can tell. I'm like, yeah, let me go and get my life together and really like.
Just yesterday for me. Yesterday morning.
Check me. Too. So it's like, you can wake up and check your social media, or whenever you can wake up and check your emails. You can wake up and talk to God, So it's just a matter of, that's a part of evolution, because we have to also evolve spiritually. Unlearning.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a whole nother.
Yes.
That's a whole nother.
Yes. I totally agree. Yes.
So I think my last question is going to be this. So when you look back on the butterfly, when you see yourself right now as the butterfly you are now, what's the one thing you would have told you when you were the caterpillar?
Woo! One thing I would have told myself as the caterpillar.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I would have told myself, even as the caterpillar, is patience. And of course, being young, not really knowing, you had to grow into an adult, you had to experience some things, because experience is one of the best teachers as well. So patience, and to trust where God is taking you. And it's such an easy statement to make. Trust where God is taking you. Trust where God is taking you. Trust where God is taking you. I can continue saying it over and over and over. But as the caterpillar evolving into the butterfly, that needs to be on replay. Mm-hmm. Trust where God is taking you through the bad. Trust where God is taking you when it hurts. Trust where God is taking you when you're crying and no one is there to support you or to hold your hand. Trust where God is taking you. So not really knowing, knowing God, but not knowing him as a caterpillar, mm-hmm. evolving into the butterfly, trusting him more, going through more things, crying more, smiling more. Like it's such a journey. It's such a journey. So if I had to say anything, and especially if something had to be on replay, it would be trust where God is taking you. Trust where God is taking you. If nobody heard anything else that I've said on this entire time, I would say trust where God is taking you. Wherever you currently are, even if you're in a situation where you just don't know if you're going to live to see the next 5 minutes, if it's so hurtful to the point where you just want to crawl up and die, even though I speak that you shall live and not die. But I've been there and I understand, and I've been depressed. I've been, sad. I've been lonely. I've been hurt so bad to the point where I've shut people out. I built a wall and a fence around me. I've guarded my heart because I've been, in situations with people and things that pretty much just kept me. It's like, okay, I don't have to deal with that, and I won't deal with that. But that didn't really serve me. It may have served me just for a little while, but looking back, it didn't really serve me, because we all need somebody. So even in going through those things, if I had to tell myself again, trust the process. So trust every little thing, whatever you're going through, that God is going to see you through, because it's a beautiful thing to be able to evolve. It's so beautiful, but it does come with a price. You're going to have to let some things go. You're going to have to grab onto some things. You're going to have to cry. You're going to have to scream it out. You're going to have to shout it out. You're going to smile. You're going to rejoice. It's such a roller coaster of emotions, but trust the process. Trust where God is taking you so that you can fly.
Baby, the butterfly has taken off. We see you, G. I'm so proud of you and who you are becoming. I'm so grateful that you were able to give us all of these gems. Like, Nina, I don't know, you good at this. You need to keep doing this.
Honey, so folks just don't know, honey.
In the future from other people as well. So I know it's, I'm big on like transcendentalism. So transcendentalism is like those people, those writers like Ralph Waldo Emerson, Henry David Thoreau. I love reading in English major, all that stuff. So as a transcendentalist, they hug trees. They believe that you find God in nature. So I think it was Ralph Waldo Emerson. He said, people only see what they are prepared to see. Now,
they are prepared to see.
So, because he was outside, like looking at something and he saw God, but somebody else saw something else. So it's a matter of preparation. And so when you say trust where God is taking you, it spoke to me and it made me think about that. So if I'm not in a space where I'm prepared to like see and accept where God is taking me, then I won't. If people aren't prepared to see that you're an amazing person and that you bomb as hell, and if they crazy as hell, they don't wipe you or snap you off the market and stuff, that's on them because they ain't prepared to see it.
What's the last part?
Take you off the market and stuff. Just letting everybody know that you Yep, few single ladies. And we only looking for what God want us to have. So all I'm saying is that, you know, people only see what they are prepared to see. And so what I'm learning is to not get mad at people if they see me as a caterpillar when I'm really in my butterfly state. You ain't ready to see me as that. And that's no reflection of me. That's a reflection of you and where you are with your sight.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So what really interests me is that the way I pay attention to how people see me, okay? Because how you see me lets me know so much. Because it lets me know you're not in a space where you're spiritually or mentally prepared to really see me for what I really am and my true worth. And that's okay, because I get to choose, right? We get the choice to choose who we allow in our spaces and what capacity of our lives.
Which is why everybody can't go with you wherever you go and whatever you do. So yeah.
Because you have to trust where God is taking you. You ain't say trust where God is taking other folks that's trying to come with you. You said trust where God is taking you.
And learn to be okay with it.
And learn to be okay with that, with patience and trust. And trusting, patience, gentleness with grace.
Yes.
And most importantly, I think one of the other things you said, you know, is the willingness to change, to unlearn and relearn. You have dropped so many jewels. My heart is so happy, and I'm just so proud of Love Nina Essentials and just Shenina Brown and who she is as a person. And I pray that God continues to bless you immensely. And thank you so much for joining the podcast today. It's just
been a blast.
Day. How can the people?
I don't do this video thing, but He's evolving me to a different place. So I have to do it. Was necessary. I had to. I'm not even gonna start because it's time to go.
Talking about something. It was necessary. Please don't start nothing. I
had to do this. Nervous and all. I don't do videos. People know me that, and I know I need to, but you know, just fear of how I'm gonna look on camera. Am I gonna look 15 pounds heavier? You know, all those things go through my mind. So it's like, okay, but in order to evolve and get to that place, that level where I desire to be, it's the little things, which is a big thing, but it's the little things like this that you must do. You must get uncomfortable. You must be willing to change. You must give yourself grace, even if you don't sound like you need to sound, if you don't look like you need to look on camera, you got to do it so that you can get to the next level.
Yep. You know, Jay-Z said, JC said in one of his songs, I think it was Life is But a Beach Chair. I think. Life is But a Beach Chair. I don't know. He said, don't run from the pain, run towards it. Right? So they're always like,
afraid.
That's all he was saying. Like, if this may be painful to you, or this may not feel how you want it to feel, but don't run from what you fear. Don't run from what you think. Paralysis of the analysis, man. You got to run toward it. You keep running toward, you know, all of these things that God has given you, because you're making a hell of an impact. You're following it. People, you're getting people through their days. Seriously. And it's a blessing. It's very commendable. And I just want to say thank you for like doing that, because people are not necessarily in the best of spaces. We're in a global pandemic. Financially, people may not be what they are. They may be having problems at home with their spouse, with their children, cars. It's so much happening. People are dying.
So much.
You know, so to be a light in the chaos, you know, in this chaotic world, we need more of that. And you continue to be the light and let the world adjust.
Thank you. I love you and I appreciate you.
I love you more.
I'm proud of you. Keep doing your thing. You're in your natural element. I can go on and on about that. But just know that God has given you something really, really good, and keep doing what you're doing, because you're blossoming in it, and you're truly making an impact. And it's not by coincidence that you've named your business your international organization.
All right, because
it is.
You threw that on there. My logo maker.
International, yeah.
She was like, well, I'm at international because you're going to be international.
Oh, okay. We're going to speak that thing. All right.
Because we're going to evolve into it. In Germany and Puerto Rico. I got listeners everywhere. So I'm like, Nina, she was on something.
Yep. Come on. Again, speaking it, my grandmother spoke it over me before I even know. Speak over your friends before they even know how dope they are.
They know who they are.
That's it. Come on.
Oh, that's
and
good.
stick with them from the beginning through their rough times, through their not so good times, to the point where they don't make 5 cents and then they're making $5,000 in a minute. Stick with them. Don't just come around. Cut me off because we go on. Okay. Thank you for having me.
Dang.
Whoa.
Gee.
That's a whole nother subject. Oh, child. Okay.
Don't holler at me when you see the evolution.
Okay. Bam. That's it.
Yeah. Holler at me when I'm in Caterpillar State.
Song's dedicated.
Man, you have blessed my soul, Nina. If you guys are watching it live, you have some questions, I ask that you share this episode, watch it. It'll also be available on all streaming platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google Casts, Breakcast, Spotify, you name it. It's under Impact Chasing Podcast, so it will be on those platforms shortly. If you want to listen, but if you want to watch it, stream it here, share it. And we thank you guys so much for tuning in. God bless you guys. And Shenina, I love you much, and I will talk to you soon, dear.
Yes, ma'am. Love you. Thank y'all.